So I traveled out to Virginia to hunt with Paul. I got out there and he'd had a nice buck on camera, and the way that it set up down there, it was kind of like a long valley with a creek in the bottom, pretty steep slopes, houses on one side and brush and woods on the other. So there was really only a couple ways for the deer to come in and out. So we thought, as regular as this buck was on camera, we thought we'd have a good chance to catch him in the short amount of time I was there. So the first morning I get up, we get up before dawn. I go down, pick a tree, climb up. Everything's nice. The wind's good. Temperatures are great. Sit in the tree and didn't see anything. Didn't hear anything, didn't see anything. Came down midday. We went and had lunch. I think we had to do some stuff at the archery shop. Went back out that evening. Hopes were high. Climbed a tree in the same area. I think I moved a little bit that first day. So I knew at that point that the next day was going to be a long day. I couldn't believe that I didn't see any deer the first day, but it was almost like they knew I was there, like they were up high on the hill or something. There was some reason they didn't come through. All right, so morning day 2 rolls around. So I found a tree, just like always, saddle hunting. That's the beauty of it. I was in my Buzzard Roost tree saddle, and you kind of scope the area out, use your woodsmanship, and figure out, okay, I think they might come from this way, the wind's doing this, and picked my tree, climbed it, and got comfortable. Had my lunch, and sat, and sat, and sat. Again, I did some calling, did a little grunt calls here and there, rattled every once in a while. But you want to be realistic at the same time. If something is off in the distance, you don't want to scare them away by not being realistic. So I'd call for a little bit, and then I'd sit for a couple hours. And then finally, I had about, 45-ish minutes left in the day, and in daylight, and I knew it was kind of like a now or never moment. And I picked up the rack again and started rattling. And I rattled off and on as if bucks were fighting for a few minutes. And sure enough, I'm rattling, looking around, and sure enough, I just see some movement up on the ridge across the stream from me. And of course, at that point, you have to stop, so you don't want them to actually pick you out in the tree. So I stopped rattling, and there he was. He was way up high, a couple hundred yards up the ridge, at the very peak, like he had been bedded down maybe in some evergreens that I could see up on the peak. And I must have just sparked enough of his interest that he stood up. And when he stood up, I could see him. So he kind of worked his way down the ridge. And in the video, he comes to a point, there's a creek. So So at this point, he's standing about 40 yards away, just staring me down, you know, and I don't think he saw me, but he was looking right in the direction of the noise. So he stared and stared and stared, and then he relaxes a little bit, kind of licks his lips, and he decides he's going to start moving. Well, of course, instead of coming straight across the creek at that point and giving me a perfect 20-yard shot on my left side where I'd like him to be, he decides to work his way down the creek behind a bunch of brush and trees. Well, there was a crossing that I had seen, a deer crossing, and it was on the opposite side to cross over my bridge. I had a camera, my phone on the camera arm on that side, so everything was kind of in the way. But as he's moving through the brush and behind the trees, I got my bow turned and I got my body turned, and I ranged a spot, and I knew if he stepped in that spot, he would be 33 yards away. And I was across my body, and I come to full draw, and when I came to full draw, I hit my phone and my camera arm, and in some of the videos you can audibly hear a little tink, a little metal sound. And as soon as I did that, he looks right up at me, put that 30-yard pin where I wanted it, sent the arrow, and you can see in the video, he kind of ducks or jumps the string a little bit and jumps down right into the arrow. Perfect shot. I mean, I couldn't have got any luckier or better, however you want to look at it. Everything lined up just perfect. Hammered him, and he wheeled around and ran about 25 yards and went down. I could see him from the tree. So of course at that point I'm, pumping my fists, I'm shaking. I was just so thankful that I was able to travel, put it all together, move into an area, use all my knowledge and background and my instincts, if you will, and put it all together to harvest just such a beautiful buck in Virginia.
Damn, dude.
Isn't that the one that I shot with the gun? I shot on this property.
Yes,
my
sir.
shot.
Cut right there. Wow. 33 yards. Am I crazy?
Oh, it's back up. Here, Mr. Troy.